Restless!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of the Gollum's Gamers podcast. Today, we're going to be running through all of our lists for an upcoming GBHL 100 event here in the UK. It's quite a big event, and we're going to be taking a look at everyone's lists. At the end, we're going to put them all in a tier list and rank everyone's lists. So the event does actually use some custom scenarios, which are in this little pack here, with some key differences compared to how the scenarios usually are. So Sam is going to run us through the key points.
Yeah, you tell me the scenario, Elliot, and then I'll try.
Okay, number 1, seize the prizes.
So yes, so the difference in C's is that instead of having one central objective that you try to dig up, instead there's 3. So there's one in the center and then 2 other side, 12 inches away from each other. The center one is a heavy object, and the 2 side ones are light objects.
Oh yeah, it's heavy, isn't it?
Yeah. The 2 sides are you dig them up on a 3+, and the center one you still dig up on a 4+. And then VP wise, was that?
Going to say, how much carnage is the heavy object about to cause?
It's so bad because no one.
It caused a lot in our game, didn't it, Sam? We didn't even know it was a heavy object.
Yeah,
with like the 2 people that have to carry it and stuff.
Yeah. So it's like you get 1 victory point for the light objects if you have them in your board half, 2 if they're in the opponent's board half, and then you get 3 if you run them off the board. You then get 1 victory point if you have the heavy object in your board half. You get 3 if you have the heavy object in your opponent's board half, and you get 6 if you run off the board. If you run the heavy object off the board, the game ends like normal, seize the prize. And you also, the game doesn't end until both players are 25%ed.
Okay, I knew you'd have been very good at this. So, okay, the next one is Capture the Camp, which is a variant of Storm the Camp.
Yeah, so it's essentially, instead of deploying 12 inches within your camp, it's like retrieval deployment where you can deploy across the board and 3 inches either side of the 24 line. You then if you have a model in their camp, you get 3 victory points just if you have a single model. If you capture their camp, you get 6. If you have a banner, you get 1 VP, and then if you have the banner in their camp,
in the
camp,
2. Yeah.
I think there's 1 for leader wound, 2 for leader kill, and then break unbroken, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, break unbroken is 1 and 2. Yeah. So next is Lords of War, which isn't very different because we played that yesterday, right?
Yeah, so Lords is essentially the same as normal Lords of Battle, but mounts that flee count towards your tally, so you don't have to strike the horse on purpose. You can just strike the rider, and if you kill the rider, you get 2 points instead of striking the horse.
Yeah. And then we have Contest of the Champions.
Yeah, so this is just, instead of using your leader, you, like a lot of people want it to be, you nominate a champion as your hero, and then they do the killing, so you count their tally. And the hero gets fearless and resistant to magic. And I think it's still, if you kill a multi-wound model, you get a point of might back.
Yeah, that is still a thing. Yeah, that's the key one there. And
that one change in that, though, is that if you wound the enemy leader, you get VPs. It doesn't have to be your champion do it. So, whereas in old contest, your champion has to kill them. Your leader has to wound their leader. But if you get any wounds on them, then that counts for VPs. So it makes it a little bit easier.
Very good change.
Some good analysis there, Ash. I like it.
I'm on it.
So the next one is Heirlooms of Ages Present.
Yeah, so this is, I mean, it's good, but I don't know if it changes it too much. So instead of, if you pick up the relic, it's like normal heirlooms where you have 6 objectives. If you dig up on a 6, instead of rolling just a 1 and then being transfixed, if you roll a 1 or a 2 at the start of the turn, your model is then compelled before any other models are moved. So, but instead of moving half distance, you move full distance. So a normal warrior can be compelled 6 inches just by rolling 1 or 2, and the opposing player gets to choose, where they go. There's no banner VPs anymore, and then if they have the relic, you get 6, or if you have the relic, you get 6. If you have more enemy models, like more models around the relic person
within 3, you get 3 VPs,
and then there's leader, break unbroken, so you can still win.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have the relic.
Yeah, so it's a big change for flyers. Like, you don't just auto win, you pick up the flyer.
Yeah, if you pick up that can be compelled 12. So it's like
compelled 12 instead of just and you can't box them in as well, like an infantry model.
Yeah.
But if you pick it up with an infantry model, you do just box it in, and then
but with a
it's
flyer,
exactly
you
the
can't do
same.
that.
Yeah,
It just stops you from like putting objectives on the top of a building, a bat flying up there, and then everyone's sad.
Yeah.
it stops AOL, stops
Gamey maneuvers at these GBHL 100 events, aren't there?
It's like the only scenario that he's edited that doesn't help AOL.
Yeah.
But
and the last one is reconnaissance. Which is our recon.
Yeah, recon. I don't think much changed apart from that. If you instead of running you run a cavalry mod off the board, and it would normally count as 1, but it would count as 2 this time because you're running the horse and the ride off the board because it's like it's not multi-wound, but it counts as 2. And if you ran a cave troll off the board, you'd get full wounds. You'd have 3 points instead of just the 1. So it's based off the number of wounds you get off the board, not the actual model itself.
So it helps those all hero armies, basically.
Yeah, helps Cav, helps all heroes.
All monsters.
Again, makes bats and Crevain really good. So
yes.
Yeah. So did we have any other general thoughts on any of the other scenarios? We talked about a couple at the end, but any of the others? Seize the prize, catch the camp, anything?
Yeah, in heirlooms, would it not be really good to just lay your model down? So then even if it gets compelled, like it's going nowhere. Just thinking about
that's
that.
a good point. That's a good point.
So when it's compelled, you can only make it move. You can't make it do anything else.
You make it move.
Okay, so then it can't. You can't make it stand up. It's fair.
Yeah, so even if it's like a bat, it's moving like an inch.
Yeah,
I like what's it called now? Capture the camp. You get extra VPs if there's a banner in there, which is quite cool.
Not when I'm using the Emperor though. That might not really work. I could try to get my Emperor there.
Yeah,
I reckon that's still quite hard to do.
Serves you right for taking
to get a banner in the camp. I reckon that's still quite hard.
Yeah. I think it might still play as not many people ending up getting to the camp.
Yeah, unless you've got
like how it's intended.
Flag.
I think they're different. I think you're gonna. It was Storm the Camp used to be a lot of draws, or used to be a lot of 3-0 wins just by break unbroken. But
yeah,
when I played,
this version is way better.
Yeah, like me and Luke drew yesterday still, but we like both had each other's camps.
Just purely from like the deployment changes.
You're more likely to get them, but then they're both more likely to get the camps. But
the deployment change just makes it way better. It just makes it far less boring.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really needs to change.
It just saves everyone about 25 minutes of moving, to be honest.
Yeah.
And also I think Ali's put into the pack that we get a deployment time. I think he's going to be doing that. I think he said like 10, 15 minutes deployment on top of the round timer. So that's something I'm seeing more events start to do at higher points. Which I think is quite a good thing generally. But shout out to Ali King for setting the bar for events. TOs listening, please. This is the new standard in the middle.
Lovely little handout.
Yeah, it's good. But we're going to get into the list. We're going to start reviewing the list. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, so we're going to kick it off with James. James, take us through your list.
Yeah, so I looked at different scenarios. I thought, what's going to be a little bit cheesy? What can I perhaps just put a lot of hitting power and a lot of movement? Ryan's going to be picking up heavy objects, flying off the board, a lot of wounds to run off the board and stuff. Great for contest as well, because I don't have Elrond. I've got Elendil Gry here. They don't have many models to kill. It's good for Lords as well. Not many models. It's a little bit swingy though. That's the only thing. Like I could lose a couple of combats and just lose the game instantly. So it's a little bit scary.
Yeah.
I forgot
banner.
You could.
No banner, but who needs banners?
You got the light to see you through the first few turns of combat, so you'll be all right.
Exactly.
Yeah, taking Gua here to pick up heavy objects is very, very nasty.
I think there's going to be a lot of Gwy Here's and Fell Beasts for that reason.
Well, Fell Beasts can pick up their camp model.
Where if everyone read the scenario pack as well as us.
Well, yeah.
Apparently, Ali said that there are quite a few Gwy here already.
Yeah.
Well,
we've got 2.
Yeah.
3. No?
3.
3. Wait, do we have 3? No, 2.
I think we've already got 2, yeah.
No, yeah. But yeah, I like it. Elrond with Rib Knights, bows, you got lots of different combat threats and it should work well for the scenarios. So
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, gents? Okay.
I think, it's going to be, if you have one bad turn, of combat and a lot of your knights die, you probably lose the game.
It can be like a move off or just lose the game because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You obviously don't get your strength 7 on Guai here because of yellow, which may impact you.
You don't get what? Sorry, the strength 7 from the army.
Yeah,
because I don't get the army.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Mm.
And
I think this list is going to go one or two ways in pretty much every single one of the scenarios.
Also, James, I don't think you have realised this, is that even in contest, Elrond will still have to be your champion.
Why?
Yes.
Yellow allies means that your champion has to come from, if you're yellow allies, it has to come from the main faction that you're using.
Does it say that in the pack though?
Yeah, it says that, yeah.
So
Sam specifically waited until now, after you submitted the list.
I showed you this
list. No, but it's just too eager.
Just so he can just slap you down.
I totally forgot.
On camera in front of everyone, just to humiliate you.
That's outrageous.
Classic Sam maneuver there as well.
Gamey man.
James, I don't know if you realise
Gamey
this, but boom, no reason.
I'm just looking at the list now. I'm thinking,
wait. He picked it up for that
on the bright side, there is a play
to
this. There is a play, which is obviously Guai here hurling into opponents' leaders or literally just defensing against them.
I mean, Elrond's still not a bad person, so
you still have two
people. The worst thing in the world.
It's going to be hard for them to keep their leader or their champion away from Elendil and Guahir. And a charging Guahir or Elendil, especially with heroic combat.
They've only got the option of really killing 10 models, so...
Yeah, also you could just heroic move backwards and shoot, and then fly him with Guahir, and you're fine.
You can try send Guahir and Elendil to shut down the enemy champion, while Elrond can go off and try kill stuff. You can do it that way as well.
Or can also use his magic to knock their hero over if you go for the play straight away. Knock him over, smashes.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be a turn one play.
Yeah.
Charge everything in.
Usually. Get it done.
My apologies.
Board dependent as well.
Totally forgetting.
Too late now.
It's because I read it.
He joins the meeting half an hour late and then he cheeses my list.
Classic Sam.
That's classic Sam.
As soon as I saw the yellow at the top, I thought, oh, that means this. And then I just totally,
Interesting.
Minecraft villager.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the next list, which is another Guahir list from Adam.
Yeah. So if you look at the scenario pack, you realise that fast things, lots of wounds for reconnaissance, and killy stuff is the way to do well on them. So I'm hoping that this sort of list, which is suited for certainly 5 of the scenarios, will do me well. So we've got Guai here as leader, 1 Great Eagle, Radagast on Eagle with Sebastian, and 3 Great Eagles. Now, Radagast on Eagle normally doesn't take, but because we've got 765 points, that extra 15 points enables that 5-point prickly hamster. So I'm getting 4 attacks on the charge there.
The very OP, right? We discovered this
it's 5
the
points
other day,
in the game,
in the chat. Yeah.
Very OP hamster.
So I will say, even though this list was pretty much my idea,
nice, like it.
It's good. It's really strong, but it does rely on you rolling well. Like it relies on you rolling 6s on 3 or 2 dice. If you don't manage that, you struggle hard with the Eagles.
Yeah.
And then if you roll well, then
like
I played Eagles.
They don't have a plan B, so it's kind of like
there are so many plan Bs and Cs that. So there have been times where I've lost every combat in a round, and it doesn't matter because as long as you don't get trapped, and if you have a sort of
or you could be like Ash and just
blank shape, then you're not going to get trapped. So it's
be like Ash and trap with Morannons and just flash kill Guai in one turn.
The 666 from Suladan.
The 666.
The trophy's up there.
It happens, but
What a day.
Weird flex, both.
Weird flex. But I've played against Eagles a fair few times at tournaments. I don't think I've lost to them yet. It might be because I've been using Hunter Orcs and they're quite good at killing Eagles, but
strength 4 is
so there are certain matchups which you'll struggle against, but with the scenarios, it will help you there.
What are you doing when you come up against?
I think you've just got to play it right.
A Burton is 3
So-
ballistas and a bomb.
Well, the bomb might not be that helpful.
3 ballistas and a bomb. Yeah, that's not
Adam,
ideal.
how do you feel about Bert's list with this?
Well, I've just got to hope that he loses round 1, then I won't see him.
That is what everyone's praying for.
That's confident.
Everyone.
Hopefully, he
Would you
plays
say
AOL.
the entire
Would you say
event.
Assault and Helm's Deep is probably your worst matchup, would you say?
The way he's built it, yeah.
It's a pretty bad matchup for lots of people, especially me.
It's trash. But if you think about it, all of the scenarios are pretty much deploying in your face. He can choose to deploy back in Storm the Camp, which he will. But apart from that and Recon,
Yeah.
I'm not too fussed.
Recon's horrible because you got further to go. Yeah,
Yep.
Recon is,
I guess in Recon, if you get at least one eagle off, then he can kill all the rest of your eagles.
Yep.
And then just lose because he kills you too quickly.
Yeah,
So
true.
actually, the problem with the list is actually in Recon because I have to lose every single eagle apart from 1 to end the game.
Does Radagast count as 6 wounds though?
Yep.
Yeah.
Does
Wow.
Sebastian not give you a wound?
That's really
7.
good.
No,
Recon is-
Sebastian doesn't count. No.
Oh.
Rip.
This is just going to depend on how well you use your 6 might and how well your magic goes on Radagast.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
you whiff
the
with
6 might
Radagast.
is low. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of the like.
Yeah, so
obvious
6 might
differences.
is an issue. I think I'm going to use it pretty much exclusively for moves. To be honest, though, if there's a bit of terrain, like there was a game played recently where I think I only managed to move once in 5 or 6 turns because of just the way they went, and I ran out of might quite quickly. And all it needed was that 1 turn. That 1
Compelling.
turn to retreat, move back into formation, and then So it just
Compelling with
depends how
Radagast,
it's played.
combating. You got 27
Yeah.
inches to play with. It's,
Yeah.
very
I don't
large.
think magic is too important for this list.
Very
My-
much.
My main list is Mordor Serpent Horde, so I'm used to running the Fell Beast, and Radagast and Eagle is just a more reliable version of the Witch King Fell Beast.
In fact, you get to keep the eagle as well if you dismount or if you get dismounted.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Should get keep
Automatically
Sebastian.
passes.
Yeah, you keep Sebastian as well.
So yeah, any closing thoughts on Adam's list? Anyone?
Just roll well, you'll be all right.
Yeah, best of luck,
Yeah,
Adam.
well.
Best of luck.
Okay,
I'm just hoping for average luck.
that's all you need.
If you carry on.
No. So moving on, we do have Sam's list, Lake Town. Do you want to run us through that?
Yeah, so I mean, it's not too crazy different from any Lake Town list. So it's just Bard with the girls and Alfred, just handful of militia, 5 bow, shield, spear. 2 captains, both with 12, shield, bow, spear, shield, spear. And then Hilda as a little, with 1 warrior, bow, spear, little 1 drop. And then Tharaman on horse from White Council. I had taken Gandalf previously instead of Saruman, and had 50 models with Bard, Captain Percy and stuff. But I found the value from Gandalf wasn't enough, essentially. The blinding light is really useful, and obviously keeping your 12-inch banner with Bard and the +1 fight is really useful. But you usually love fight against any army anyway, so the fight value isn't the biggest thing. It does help for the captains to make things about to fight for. But the big thing, if you have Gandalf, is when you play Terror, like when I played Ash's list with Harbinger and Black Nuns, your high model count is essentially nullified because you can't charge anywhere. So it's, do I take the Aura of Command, like the channel, the Aura of Command with Saruman to get 12-inch Fearless, and he's way more reliable casting wise with Swords of Blast on a 4. The transfix from 18 inches is pretty disgusting. And I think that just outweighs taking Gandalf essentially from the games that I've played. So also the double captain as well, giving me 4 points of march, and I have Alfred as well to even have more if I need to get across the board on recon. If I need to have both split my army in two and then move up and seize the prize, for example. I think it just gives me a little bit more flexibility. So yeah.
Yeah, we were saying yesterday with the Saruman pick. I mean, I think it's like you said, sort of the things that you lose by being a yellow alliance. I don't think are that bad compared to what you gain from taking Saruman over Gandalf for the scenarios. Like, yeah, you lose Binding Light, but you gain a lot of other utility, and you still have a 6-inch banner and +1 fight. So it could be worse, really.
Saruman is just so much better than Gandalf. I mean, the only trade-off is the Blinding Light, which if you play Burr again or any Assault, you're going to be really miserable. But then everyone's always miserable when you play Assault anyway, so that doesn't necessarily matter.
Yeah, it's really hard to build a list to deal with everything, right?
Yeah, and his 12-inch Awe of Command, if you channel it, also because his stand fast affect heroes, you've basically no one's ever running away, which is handy with a list that's only Courage 2.
Yeah.
The Courage 3 base.
Oh, sorry, Courage 3 base.
You don't you normally get the 12-inch all heroes pass courage tests because of Bard, but you don't lose that because you take Saruman instead. The only thing you lose is the banner, which is annoying. But like I said, I just think the Sorcerer's Blast being on a 4+, and the transfixes at 18 inches, like transfixing a captain in Seize the Prize first turn so they can't march is like one of the worst things that could happen to
on
someone.
A 2+ as well.
Yeah.
And with the reroll as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the same points, the fact that Gandalf doesn't have a reroll, doesn't have any 18-inch spells.
He's more versatile with the spells he has, but he's not as good a caster. You like when you use Saruman, you're more like you're realistically going to cast every spell, but when you don't, it feels a little bit more punishing because you think you should all the time. But yeah, the only thing is that Elliot has totally messed up here is that one of my captains does not have a shield.
I totally did.
cheating with 5 points over.
No,
I totally did. Yes, we even talked about that yesterday.
So the second captain above Hilda doesn't have a shield, but the other one does because of points.
Yes, before anyone thinks we're cheesing.
What do you reckon your worst scenario is? Lords probably, or you confident with that as well?
I think it's more matchup dependent. Lords is a case of depending on if they have Blinding Light and if what they're shooting is compared to mine. If they outshoot me, I kind of deploy up 24 and you kind of use Bard free combat to try and gain points back. But also because of the changes to Lords and the fact that if you dismount a horse, you get the point. Sorcerer's Blasting Cav is really, really good because you can just Sorcerer's Blast one Cav into another, and then that's instantly 2 because the mounts flee. And if you kill one, that's another one. So you get 3 points for just one spell, which is kind of ridiculous, and it does help out.
Yeah, that's a good point actually.
I don't think Lords is too bad. Contest, I mean, I have Bard as my leader, who he gets resistant, which is helpful. He's still only D5, but again,
contest is fine because you've got Saruman to
Saruman to Sorcerer's Blast into combat, Saruman to transfix. It's just a good sport hero. Maybe Storm the Camp is a little bit bad. I like scenarios that I can be quite far away in the first deployment. So Recon's quite good for me because if I play against Terror, I actually have an opportunity to channel or command when I come on the board. Like if I play against a Terror army, there's too many things I need to do. Like I need to transfix the hero, I need to Sorcerer's Blast their Witch King off their horse. So I can't really ever get a chance to do Awe of Command. So if I deploy further back, I think it favours me a little bit more. Even
more turns you've got to bully the opponent with 18 inches of compel is really like against a Dragon Emperor. If they're walking towards you and the Dragon Emperor is just going back 3 inches, or if it's drummed 4.5 right every turn, you just that's horrible for him to have to deal with. Whereas if the Emperor's in your face and you're playing, line on line straight away, then you've got less turns to utilize the points you've invested in Saruman.
Even just transfixing that drum so he can't use it.
Or doing a cheeky Sorcerer's Blast that drum.
It's a case of I think Heirlooms is good. Heirlooms is okay as well. Like I have enough might so that I can kind of spend to come on the board where I want to without really being having that much of a problem.
The might in this list is really horrible.
Yeah.
Getting 14 with Alfred is just
so there's 11 might in there.
going to be the most.
Good.
It was like there were times yesterday, Sam, like when you fluff like a roll with Bard or something, it was like fairly close to end game and you wanted to spend 3 points of might, and it's like I'm in a position where I can do that and not feel that bad about it. I think any list which can do that is in a pretty strong position.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. What is your current record of this list though, Sam? How many games you played? How many you won? What's gone wrong?
Ashley, brother, you need to stop right there, honey. Okay.
Isn't it 5 games, 1 win so far? So it's pretty strong.
Ash,
learn it though.
Come on, man.
Smacked by Ali yesterday.
I tell you that Ali.
Elliot, you lost all 3 games, so
Ali needs to get the dice checked.
Well, matters he does the business on the day.
Is Elliot your only win?
Does. You are?
Is Elliot? No, like is Sam
the
only person?
Elliot's his only win. So
his only win. Oh, so he hasn't really won a game.
Oh,
no,
Ash doesn't even count.
Ash knows that the last game I played against him was absolutely absurd. It was the worst game. I've never seen him.
Remember when I only had Gorbag left? I had like 4 models left. One of them was Gorbag, and I still won. It was worse. It was worse than that.
There's no way it could be worse than that. You just had like 3 heroes left on the table, and that was it.
I still won.
That doesn't sound great.
Yeah. I think my list is fairly. It's not perfect, but I think it's strong, very strong.
I think it's
the Gandalf, to be honest.
It's a strong list. Yeah.
Really? Why?
Just for the 12-inch, I think it benefits it so much. I don't like Hilda with one person.
The one drops night. Nah, disagreed. Hard down.
He's already got enough models and enough warbands where that doesn't really matter.
You get 2 extra models for having Gandalf, Sam?
Yeah.
It's just the models are there to die slowly. Bard is there to kill.
You still have that anyway.
So in addition to everything you guys have just said, Saruman's also much better than Gandalf in these scenarios because we deploy close, apart from recon. Because Saruman only has 2 spells that he needs to work up to. Whereas Gandalf has most of his spells. Even talking long distance from Protection of Valor, he's got Strength and Will, he's got Blinding Light, and he relies on using all these to get anywhere near his points cost. Whereas Saruman can do basically anything from close or from distance.
And Gandalf might not even cast them because they're all on high values and there's no reroll.
Yeah. I think it's easier to get good value out of Saruman compared to Gandalf, unless you play shooting and then like, I have Blinding Light, but if not, then you might struggle to,
He's got 48 models anyway. It doesn't really matter if you lose a few.
Okay, so that is it for Sam's list. We're going to move into the next one now, which is actually mine. So I am taking the host of the Dragon Emperor Legendary Legion. So first of all, band, we have the Dragon Emperor, 15 Black Dragons with Pike and Shield, 3 Black Dragon Cataphracts, one of them has a War Drum. Then we have Ratabi with 5 Eastern Warriors with Shield, 5 with Pike and Shield, 2 with Bow, and 1 with just a Pike to try and squeeze in as many models as I can. Then last warband, we have Broadgear, 5 with Shield, 2 with Pike and Shield, 3 with Bow, and 2 Acolytes. So it's 46 models. I've really tried to squeeze in as many models as I can. So that's why there's 1 more with only a Pike. So I've really tried to get the numbers up as high as I can. I think 46. I don't think we actually mentioned that the event is 765 points. I'm not sure if we said that.
Yeah, why are the points on there, Elliot?
But yeah, I think for 765 points for what is mostly a D6 army, 46 models is pretty good, along with all the buffs that you get in the Legion to the heroes and stuff. It's got the drum for the movement, obviously Broadgear with the casting fury and all that sort of thing. Can make Ratabi my hero for contest, as the Emperor, in my opinion, kind of struggles in contest. So it's a fairly standard Emperor list. I mean, I haven't taken axes on my front line, which might be something I think I'd want to start doing in other events, as it can struggle against D6. And, sometimes it can be hard to kill stuff. But it's a fairly standard Emperor list. Thoughts?
Axes. You need them. You want them.
It's just exactly what you'd expect.
I don't think you need axes.
The only controversy is axes and have you got too many bows? That's it.
No, I think it's
too many bows.
So I think you probably have 1 or 2 more.
I looked at most of the Emperor lists that were taken to the ETC, and they had roughly what I've taken. I think the lowest I saw was 4, the highest was 6, so I've gone with 5.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
Shooting into
any
combat's OP.
D5, shooting into combat is very good. Fair enough. Any D5 is just where the opponent's going to try and kill first. That's the
So
only
I've got 8 models that are D5 because I've got 5 bows, a pike without a shield, and 2 acolytes. But like, I think if the game is coming down to a model that needs to shield, and it's that 1 pike without a shield, something else has probably gone wrong elsewhere.
You've still got
So,
the
like,
12-inch banner anyway, so
So I don't know. I think having 46 models and not a uneven number of models, so that it improves my break point is kind of what I'm trying to do. Max out models. Like compared to the survivors list that has 48, I mean, I've got 46 and I'm mostly D6 and high fight.
This is a really, really strong list. And I can't see. The only time I have found you can beat the Dragon Emperor is in missions like Fog or Assassination, where you target Ratabi or Brogan and just try and kill them. But
as we found out in Preston, Ash.
Yeah, but that's a little bit different because you can't read.
Sorry.
But
no, all right. All right.
Yeah, this list just does so well at winning fights and killing. I mean, even needing 6s, if you've got your pike formation, you got 3 dice to get 6. You fainted on the front guy. It's just so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
This is top.
I didn't really build it specifically like for the scenarios, if I'm honest. Is why I don't really know what many of the differences are for the scenarios. I mean, does it do okay in the scenarios? Is it going to struggle in any?
It just does well at everything, really, though, doesn't it?
It's
just the most all-round solid list there is.
Even if
an awful lot of dice,
too many dice, and you got Brogan for the tremor. If in contest, maybe it struggles a little bit. Ratabi.
She got Ratabi.
She gets resistant, which is good, but she's not like that good. She's strength 4/3 attack. She has the reroll to win the fight. With potentially 2 pikes behind her as well. Well, there would be in contest. Yeah, so
like 7 dice to win the fight. She's going to win it.
It's more about the killing, though. Are you killing to a turn with Ratabi? No.
You're not. You're probably not.
You totally are.
But like yesterday, I played against Ali, and
good point, Sam.
He had Wither. And Ratabi at strength 3 against D6 just did nothing over like 4 or 5 turns. So depending on what I'm facing, she could do nothing. But
Sam just mentioned the Blade Wrath.
Yeah, you have Brogy that can Blade Wrath her. So even if someone withers her, it's like I'm back up to strength 6 regardless.
How does that work with Wither then? So
because it's just you have your strikes are made as strength 6.
It's just strength 6 regardless, right?
So even you charge 2, you're backed up by 2 pikes, you Blade Wrath her, so she's got what? She's 6 charging. Like
I think you mentioned that before. It was when I was deciding whether to take the captain over Brogear, and that was why I ended up going with Brogear. But the captain was potentially another way to run it. But
it just does classic Emperor things. It's just a lot of fight 5, a lot of models, and it's just really consistent. It doesn't really lose fights. It doesn't die. It just
the drum gives it such big movement as well. You can get where you want to be. You can avoid shooting pretty well.
You drum up fine.
There's a fair amount. There's a fair amount of like movement scenarios. So the drum, is a pretty big deal.
The only thing that I see as a weakness of this list is the host of the Dragon Emperor in general, but is the movement of your big 80 mil base.
Yeah.
But seeing as his sphere of influence is so large and we actually have to bring terrain, I don't think terrain will be an issue.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, you don't think it'll be an issue because we have to bring it?
Well, he's gonna. We
didn't mention yes and no.
We didn't explain that part about the terrain.
Oh yeah, so it's quite important.
So yeah, basically everyone can, or is it says in the pack that if you bring a piece of terrain, is it a tournament point that you get?
Yeah, you get 1 TP.
But it has to be like a certain dimension, or it can't be over, and then you get to deploy it before the start of the game, before you roll for board edge, but not within 6 inches of the center of the board. Sorry, from a board edge.
And it can't be 3 inches from this. It has to be 3 inches away from the center.
Oh, 3 inches away from the center.
You can take
3 inches away from another piece of terrain, which is isn't 3 inches still smaller than the Emperor's base?
So Adam, sorry, why did you say that? Sorry, you were going to say
What the sort of impression I have of most tournaments that I've been to in the UK is there isn't much terrain really isn't an issue from what I've seen. If you look at what they use in Australia, Canada, like back reps abroad, Like, I learned to play the game in Spain. People use a lot of terrain, but in the UK, not really. And therefore, that's massively in the Dragon Emperor's favour. In
Yeah, you do.
addition, the fact that we
Go on.
actually have to bring terrain implies that actually there's that element of creativity, and maybe there won't be a massive amount of terrain at the event.
Mm.
I think the point is though, like the board will be sparser than usual, so that when people bring their terrain, that is what fills it up. So if Elliot brings a smaller piece, that is going to
Which I
impact
fucking will be.
Yeah,
Yeah, just put it in the
Yeah,
corner.
you want to bring a terrain
boundaries.
piece that can just terrorize your opponent.
yeah.
Like
I'll
put
grab
a
it.
fat wall in front of the Emperor, or put like I think I might take the the wall sections we've got.
Yeah,
just-
Palisades.
Because I think Assault on Helm's Deep is that's such a good.
This is
Yeah,
what I'll be
that's a
taking,
joke,
and it'll be
thing.
going 6 inches from the corner.
Yeah. Whereas I'd like to put the wall
Watch you roll that corner in
in
heirlooms.
front of the army so it can defend me from shooting.
It's because of the deploying. You deploy them and then you do board edge. Like it can backfire on you. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
try to be,
yeah.
if you try to be that person, I mean, it can totally work, but it could totally lose you a game. And in the same time,
Adam, you can just bring a big thing that you can put all of your eagles on top of.
Yep. So I've got a building, which it's not cheesed out. People can walk up the stairs to get to the top of the building, or people can hide inside. My eagles can't do that.
Stairs.
That's for everyone else. And there's a little oasis in the front, so some water, somewhere for Madagascar to sit and watch.
That's cute.
Is there any height restrictions?
yes,
I think
There are height restrictions.
there is. There's like
Not in the
dimensions
pack.
that he's put in there.
No, I
no,
think
it just
the
says
dimensions are
9
only
by 9.
2D.
Cannot
right?
be greater than 9 by 9.
Yeah,
so
it's
it's
nothing
only
like
that
2D.
is exactly what it was last year. There was a particular piece of terrain at the event last year that was not
Huge brain.
but the dimensions that were said last year, I think it was 7x7. So that is in reference to like the floor plan, right? In width and length, but not about height. So
there is a paragraph in the rules pack that specifically says about what the standard of terrain you have to bring is, and it needs to be submitted to Ali beforehand, because otherwise, if you bring a piece of terrain that is completely
Bring Orthanc.
X, Y, and Z,
Put your leader up here.
Yeah,
So
I actually sent my floor plans to Ali, and he was like, "Yeah, it's great."
but you could just send the floor plan and then not disclose the height, and then turn up with a,
yeah. It's
I'll send a picture across now.
So, Elliot, why only 2 acolytes?
It was really, originally I didn't have any acolytes. It was trying to, that's the area that I've spent some more points on something else that isn't, because I've been trying to just hit in as many models as I can, but
Because what you could fit.
That's the one area that I had some points spare, and the idea is to try to send Brogear on a flank to try get a line for a tremor, taking the acolytes along there because they can jump over terrain and stuff. You can't ignore Brogear and a couple acolytes on a flank, so that's the idea.
Yeah.
You can run more of them, but it's just then you're putting more points into D4 and then more elite troops where you don't get up to as many models. So, I didn't want 45 models, so that would mean going down to 44. So if I did that, I could take more elites, more cav, more acolytes, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea. But I think 46 at what is essentially 750 points is pretty good.
Yeah, it's properly.
So that
high.
was the thinking. Yeah,
it's just super solid. I think it's going to do well.
There's not much more to say. It's quite boring, but yeah.
It's the standard Emperor.
Yeah. So yeah, we can move on to the next list. So that is going to be Vince's Isengard. If you want to take us through that.
Yeah, so I've gone for a pretty standard Isengard list: a Saruman horse, Grima, 12 crossbows, 4 orcs, spear, shield, Lurtz, 1 Grabane, some more orcs, a spear, banner, 3 Urkai shield, 3 berserkers, Gorulf, another Grabane, and some more orcs and shield Urkai. 40 models, which I think is pretty much minimum you want to hit at this points level. I went back and forth between having Saruman and no Saruman, but I think if you're 750 points or above, you kind of have to take Saruman, especially for these scenarios. Grima alone, he can win like a few of the scenarios by himself, which is pretty cool. So if they don't have any casters, you can run off straight away for recon. He can deploy in the camp and just basically secure the three VPs like straight away. Put the pressure on them. And I've got the 2 5/5 3-attack heroes, which are really solid. And Lurtz, his deployment rules for Maelstrom are really handy for recon and for heirlooms. So if I lose priority, I can actually keep him off until, you know, the heirloom's been found, or if, you know, I want to come on wherever I want. So Lurtz is pretty cool. And the reason why I've gone for the 12 crossbows, I'm usually not a massive fan because crossbows, yeah, they're so static, and at the end of the day, they're still Uruk-hai and you want them in the fight. But I just think for Lords, if I don't have shooting, all I'm going to do is just kind of run up and get shot and just get picked off in fights. I just don't see myself winning Lords. So if I've got the crossbows, at least I can see I've got a better chance of winning the shooting war, and for that one I have a better chance.
Yeah, like if I play you with the Emperor, you sit back, I have to run towards 12 crossbows. Yeah, I've got the drum, but all it takes
at
is
least I can
one turn of, you know, and you could kill 4 or 5, and now the numbers are even. So
it's just
it's a big
the 40 models.
The thing I like about this list is it's, in some ways, if you compare it to the list we just looked at with the Host of Dragon Emperor, it is in some ways so similar and so different. Man for man, the Easterlings are better. Their stats just win. But this is so toolboxy. Vinny plays it well. He's got Corbane, he's got Berserkers, Courage Bypass, he's got Banner, he's got Grima, who is very hard to play against unless you know what you're doing. And in certain situations, he'll have done his job even if he gets boxed in. Because that first march, he can then at least extract that point of might. It's so toolboxy. It's got everything. The Corbane are amazing for
2 Corbane is nuts,
So good.
considering the wounds are what you know, get you the points when you get them off the board. You know, 2 of them, that's crazy. And there'll be some armies that might struggle, although everyone should have, you know, built their lists to cater towards the scenarios. But there'll be some armies, I guess, which might struggle to get any models off. You know, dwarves, for example, you might not see many dwarves at this event for that reason, but you know, they might struggle to get anything off the board, where Vince can get what is essentially 8 models off with only 2 Corbane. That's
He gets
Why-
11 wins off.
3 Berserkers, Vince, because could you, how many points are they again? Sorry.
Yeah, so they're 15. Yeah,
the 15.
I know you're going to say you think
Yeah.
they're a bit expensive. They are a bit expensive, but I just feel like, they're my only Courage Bypass. Which
the courage is insane.
Yeah, Courage 7. So they are handy in a you know, spot where I need to kind of pin down a terror causing hero, or like, you know, an eagle or something. Still got 2 attacks, which is always relevant. I know that they only defense 5, which is a bit sad, but I mean, against strength 4, they kind of die the same anyway. But the 2 attacks is always useful. So yeah, I did kind of I went back and forth. The difference is 2 models. So if I take out the Berserkers,
Well, I thought maybe you could
an extra
upgrade
2 models.
all the orcs to Uruk-hai if you take one out. And then
The thing is, orcs with spear.
Adam's shaking his head like, no.
Orcs with spear are just
Can't
so
see Adam, it's sad.
they're so good for their points. Like, so an orc with spear and shield is 7 points. The Uruk-hai pike is 10 points. The orc and shield is the same defense, and I mean the fight value is irrelevant because I've got the Uruk-hai in front anyway, and you just get so many more models. So orcs are great value. I'm not sure about pikemen. They're not the same as Eastling pikes because you can trap yourself, which is also another bad thing. So in general, I'm not a fan of the Uruk-hai pikes. I think orcs with spears are better.
It makes sense.
I think
They're 4 points cheaper and can shield as well.
Spam those models.
4 points cheaper is I guess it's
3 points.
3 points.
Oh, with
yeah.
the shield.
I guess it's just if the Uruk-hai in the front, you know, die, and
Yeah,
then
if they
obviously
die.
you've got the weaker orcs at the back who are lower fight.
Yeah.
You know, end game.
I think that's the
could,
problem. There's
could be an
too
issue.
much D5.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Pikes are
40,
D5
as I said,
too.
I think 40 models is kind of minimum. Like if I
Yeah.
start swapping out orcs for Uruk-hai, I'm going to be in like mid-30s, which feels very low. And
you're getting towards like what elf lists have.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're not an elf list.
Yeah, and I'm not an elf.
Yeah.
Those two heroes are so good though. 3 attacks.
The 2 heroes are great. The fight
5, 3 attacks, both
3
strength
attacks,
5.
5. Yeah.
With Saruman to like in contest, Lurtz with Saruman backing him up again is going to be really hard to deal with.
Yeah. Contest.
Can Gorov pierce? Sorry.
Yeah, he can pierce and strike.
Yeah.
And he's got so basically, what you want to do, you want to use all his might first, and then you can go into hero and just call your free defense, piercing strike, so strength 6. I played a game against Adam's Eagles, and he just wrecked shop. I think took out an eagle or 2 by himself, spent all his might, and then just pinned down Guai here, like just calling defense.
Yeah, I think that's why
he took out an eagle, then Guai here, then Radagast.
Oh yeah, he took out killed Radagast.
Each turn, defense, piercing strike, perfect.
Yeah. He's such a good model.
If you transfix him, surely he can't call his free defense though.
Yeah. But I mean, if they're transfixing Gorolf, I mean,
if they've got a caster, Saruman's fucking that caster up from
I got Saruman
way further away.
I mean, it just means you can like get him gone pretty quickly because he's only 2 wounds, 1 fate, D5.
Yeah, he's fragile. Remember, like I've had him die too, but
remember he's got Grima and 9 might, so most armies are not going to outmight this.
Yeah,
Grima. I feel like games really depend on how well I use Grima. Like if Grima has a great game, I tend to win. But if he doesn't,
how do you use Grima well, Vince?
Here we go.
Well, are you saying that because you don't rate him, or
no? I was saying,
okay. How do you use Grima well? If they don't have like a caster who can do damage, like Sorcerer's Blast or Black Dart, it's simpler in that you have the option to deploy him with them. But I feel like sometimes it's a trap because if they're an experienced player, all they do is they just box him in. What I'm kind of leaning towards doing is deploying him with me more and putting him behind the lines. His main rule is the costing heroes double might.
Yeah.
And if he's behind the lines, he's not going to be touched, and they're going to have to be spending double might for strikes, for moves, and their might will just disappear. And once he's taken off, 2 extra might, he's done his job, and it doesn't matter if he dies later. So he's really like, basically what it means is even a 3 might hero can only do 1 action near him, and
you
after
need
that,
magic.
even on 1 might,
magic to do with him.
Is it a 6-inch radius?
Yeah,
it's a 6-inch.
Yeah, and he's great. And as I said, if they don't have anything to kill him, imagine heirlooms. He just picks it up. It's game over. Like if you've got nothing to hurt him, he just runs up, picks up the heirloom, and then I can just switch to playing defensively.
Did you not compel him to charge though? Then and he loses it.
You can't. You can't.
It doesn't count because he hasn't. No.
But with the automatic thing in heirlooms, he would be compelled though, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he'd be compelled.
Roll the 1 or the 2. Yeah.
But
I suppose you have to hope he ran away.
You use the tiny little Grima as well, and then no one can see him.
Even I'm
with
going to use the I'm going to use the Grima that comes in the Scouring the Shire box.
The one that's on the floor with that.
The one where he's actually prone but not.
Crawling.
That's excellent gaming from you, Vince.
Yeah, excellent gaming.
I think people just sleep on Isengard more than they should. I think this list, there's no bad scenario for this list at all. The Grima in Caesar Prize is is proper vile.
Yeah, he's
in contest.
Yeah.
Vince is not going to play like an idiot. If he plays against a caster and they're like, oh, you can compel Gorolf, Vince is not going to let that happen until he's in a safe position where he can just kill troops at strength 6 with free defense. It's just ridiculous. And I like the Berserkers because they're we have James and Adams this, which have your Eagles. And to be fair, I actually don't remember what the Berserker Blade rule does.
Oh no, the Berserker Blade shit is
nothing good.
Does a super spin.
Does it give you?
So basically, if you can, if you go double handed, you can strike every model in contact once, but you have to go double handed. So if you're surrounded by 3 guys, you have to go double handed, so you're -1. But if you win somehow, you get to strike everyone in combat. But you have to win the fight.
Charging, like, if you play Eagles and you charge, and you have two berserkers going two-handed at strength 4 or whatever they are, that's just so good compared to just single-handed.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Double-handed, sometimes it's good, but
yeah,
you -1. So.
It's nice to have the ability to do +1 to wound. If you
Yeah.
can transfix with Saruman or compel with Saruman, charge alerts to get the fight value and strike, and then against like a Thrall or an Emperor where it's D7, you can get that two-handed and then actually do wounds.
Yeah.
It's a nice tool.
I feel like Berserkers, as they are, they're okay, but they are a bit overpriced. If they were burly, absolutely, they're amazing. If they were burly,
I think Berserkers
were like defense 6.
I do kind of agree. I think Berserker profiles in general, like the Gundabad ones as well, I think they sometimes miss something. They're meant to be a bit more of an elite troop, so you're only meant to take a couple, but I'd like to see them played a bit more in general. I think,
what's their shooting rule?
They might need something else.
They're just +1 defense against shooting. Yeah. That's it.
They should have, like, in the movies, they get shot loads of times and they don't die. They need sort of like a save of some sort.
Yeah,
that's
like a 6 save or a 5 save.
They do.
Yeah, they get a 6
have the save. They do have a 6
save.
So they do have the 6 save. There you go.
But against rules, Ash.
Oh,
game
I think
designer.
it's again, it is just your courage insurance as well. Them being codes, I think it's at 6 and 7.
Yeah.
I think this is
against Army of the Dead as well. They're amazing against Army of the Dead.
I think it's hella strong. This,
yeah, I think I was good.
Let's put it this way: I played this list probably 3 or 4 times, and one of the times that I lost with the Eagles against this was because Grima literally stood in the camp.
Yeah,
just didn't go
for the scenarios. It's so good. Like,
so what can you do? Well, I considered a channeled
Nature's Wrath.
Nature's Wrath.
Did you not panic steal him?
I did, but I
was
hoping for a 1.
On there? Yeah.
I mean, what can you do? You can't do anything against that list unless you have magic or kill Saruman.
So basically, it's Wraiths, Saruman, Gandalf, pretty much. What else?
Necromancer, Legendary Legion.
Stuff that's trampled.
All right, Chill Soul.
Super
Chill Soul's vile against Grima.
Hey, can you imagine if Necromancer Legendary Legion turns up at this event?
Plays Vince first game, wins.
To be fair, some of the scenarios is quite good at.
Yeah.
I know there's totally one Black Riders, so hopefully you don't
teleport.
Oh, there is one.
Can someone bring Black Riders? Is there bring Black Riders?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Ed.
Yeah. But I think it's a good list. So
do we know what else everyone's bringing? Like, do you have any intel?
I don't know if Ali's going to be doing like a list breakdown or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't know, with stats before the event. I don't know. I mean, people will know our lists before the event because I'm going to get this up beforehand. So
they've already been submitted anyway.
We'll be going in.
The lists are already in, so they can't tailor towards.
Yeah, no, it'd be nice if let's get this up before the event. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the next list, we do have Ashley's Mordor Harad, the famous Mordor Harad that I heard he invented.
Now, this is this the last list?
It's a creation. It is indeed. I saved it.
Well, exactly. Save the best till last. So we've got the classic Mordor Harad combo, which is my favourite. We've got the Witch King with the crown on a horse, 3/14/3, 7 Black Numenorians, 7 Morannons with shielded spear, and 2 trackers. And now here is one of my inventions. You whack Kardash the Firecaller in there with 6 trackers.
Made the profile.
Bro.
I basically wrote it. Then you got Shagrat with shield, heavy armor, 5 Black Nums, 4 Morannons, 2 Morannons with spear, just to get the points to 7/6/5. And then everyone's favorite, Suladan, armored horse, 1 Harad Raider with war spear and bow, and then 3 Serpent Riders, which was actually a recent change. I had 2 and 2, but having the additional Serpent Rider is just, it's more valuable having a fight 4 charging cav with a banner than it is to have a bow with the rerolling ones. It just, I found the Serpent Riders are more strong.
I was just about to ask that question. So why do you take the Harad Raiders then for the bow, and is that it, or what else do you take?
Just to have a 24-inch shot, that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, because if someone has, they're also a little bit more reliable. Having some horse cav, you can do more movement at 5 inches to plink better angles into combats and better angles at your opponents. Shooting at 24 inches is also nice, and rerolling ones to wound with your poison is a lot.
Is that with the bow?
Yeah, so it's all
you reroll ones. Yeah,
all poisoned. So the Numenorian frontline in this list is the main aspect of it. You've got a 12 deep terror shield wall backed up by strength 4, all modeled with axes, so can go strength 5 for the piercing strike if they're in combat with them. Backed up by a 6-inch banner of Saladin, Shagrat in the middle, and the Firecaller and the Witch King terrorizing enemy heroes. It's just really hard to beat, isn't that right, Sam?
I think you're going to have people. It's essentially, if people don't have countermeasures for terror, you're going to have a good time. You do well in all the scenarios. I'd say Recon's probably your worst, just because if they have countermeasures for Cav, whether that's, good shooting that can counter each flank, or if they have magic, your stuff that can get off the board, has a much harder time. And 42 models, it's still a good amount. But obviously you have 9 trackers, which are D3. And then Sully, you will have him in combat, but he's probably going to be behind the lines first turn. And then you probably next turn, you open a gap up to get him in. It's really good for contest. Having Shagrat, threes in the right places, plus resistant, plus fearless, knocking down. You can't really go wrong.
D7, strength 5.
Yeah.
He's kind of exactly what you want for contest, really, with the Witch King behind him. That is just insane.
Yeah. Witch King Black Diamond Horses is just classic.
Black Diamond Horses. The fact you get the resistant to magic with Shagrat and fearless, because
that's nutty.
It buffs both his things that are shit. So he's only courage 4. So if you're playing terror as well, he can sometimes struggle being courage 3. Then if you have to spend will, usually a terror is backed up by magic. So having the fearless, forget that. Against magic, forget that. You've got the resistant. Having blood and glory combination.
And blood and glory, yeah.
Blood and glory combination with the contest rule that you get might back. We found out that you get 2 might if you kill a hero. So his ability the longevity that you can get with him is really high. I think 14 will is enough on the Witch King, especially as you can kill Kardash in. There's not, what have we got? There's no fog, there's no assassination, so there's no scenarios where killing the Firecaller could cause you to lose. So he's literally there to flame burst and then late game sacrifice himself for the Witch King.
And you don't need the Witch King in combat. Late game, if you do, want to, do a heroic combat sort of chain or something, you have Kardash there to sacrifice. But 14 mil for casting with the reroll is plenty, really.
10 might in a reactive army. If you can't charge me, then I can pair my fights off really well. The strength 4 helps against this, like when we played earlier against your Dragon Emperor. Although you're winning more of the fights, rolling 6s is harder to win.
The killing was quite the killing was quite even. I think there were some turns where it swung and stuff, but overall the killing was quite even by the end.
Having 1 dice to wound on 5s gives you it gives you twice as much chance of wounding as wounding on 6s. So the strength 4 is really handy. The ability to piercing strike with the Morannons as well. The combination of Shagrat's knocked down, the Witch King's knocked down, Saladin's knocked down when they charge, you can really do damage to basically any battle line that you fight. It's hard to plan against Kardash and the Witch King too, when you can compel and flame burst and charge, or it's just lots of stuff that you can do to really annoy your opponent, and they've got a lot to think about.
And you are quite an annoying opponent, so the two go quite well together.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's essentially 3 of some of the best units in the game, being the Witch King, which is probably the best caster in the game, Saladin, which is one of the best cheap point effective heroes in the game with the banner, and as well as Black Numerons, which is probably the best points cost evil.
Yeah, for 9 points, they're unbelievably good.
You combine all those three, and then you have Cardiff as well. I mean, people, if you haven't played against this list a lot, you're gonna forget that if you think, oh yeah, I can tag the Witch King, making so he can stop casting, and then Cardiff comes and flame bursts him off, and then the Witch King's free. Like people just do forget stuff that you can do combinations with them.
Yeah.
If you haven't played it before, so
even if you have played it, it's like
people do forget. Because they're not. It's not as. I mean, this list is getting to like it's seeing more play now. But it's not as common.
Thanks to me.
No, not thanks to you, lad.
At least setting the bar in the GBHL.
It basically depends. It depends how well Cardiff does, because 60 points is quite a lot, and the fact that you take him, like, I know Adam, you were running a similar list where you take way more on the Harad side to boost your numbers up, and it's whether or not Cardiff can get his 60-point value is quite a big swing in this list. For 60 points, you could get another 6-7 warriors up to 50, which means you're more of a horde, more of a grind. If you get a few bad turns and your Numenoreans start dying, for example, when me and Sam play, if Bard can hit and kill, and I go into his lake town with 9, 8 Black Numenoreans left, the swing is quite massive. They are a very important part of the list. So
that's why I said recon might be a little bit of, if you just lose too many Black Nums and get your Terror Shield all gone, it can just be a bit of a struggle. And if Cardiff doesn't cast his flame bursts, like if you don't cast enough of them and he doesn't get points back, especially because the trackers are behind your line. So you have 9 models not really in the fight. Yeah, they're shooting into combats. But instead of that 42, you're realistically, what, 33, 30, 32-ish?
Yeah. Take out 10 for Cardiff and the trackers.
Yeah, so it's 32 models. And if you lose too many of those 32, you're having to get your trackers into combat. And then being D3, fight 3 isn't exactly great.
No.
But being D6 and having the close deployment in a lot of the scenarios, that's not as bad. So I think you'll be fine.
Saladin's March, another thing. Like, you don't really want to spend his might on March, but it's there to be used. 10 might, you can march forward. Again, the Fight for Cav and the banner really can pack a punch. So I always find that the Serpent Horde Cav are, for any 13 points, they're so strong with the lance. If you win a combat on the charge, you do kill both the guys that are in front of you. And then if that goes well on all 4 charges, you've killed a lot of models. There's just so much stuff you can do.
Yeah.
So I think this list is extremely strong. I've been running something similar, but 600-ish, where I just take Witch King and Suladan. And Shagrak gives you that disposable attack. Cardiff gives you Courage Bypass. Your Black Numenoreans will probably be Courage 5 anyway. You're re-rolling 1s with 24 models you have at the front. It's a strong list. The only thing I don't like is the fact it's 765, because Cardiff with 6 Orc trackers is there for the taking. You come up against Riders of Theoden or something, they can just blitz through, and once they're on the Orc trackers, it will go down. It is a really strong list, but I think the only weakness is you're not playing 800.
Yeah, 800 points, you get up to 40, 46, 47, 48 models. You've got a much longer
band with Cardiff.
Yeah, you've got a much better chance. But again, anti-cav measures, using Riders of Theoden as an example, the Flame Burst and the Black Dart on the cav, taking out Theoden and Dale Wine's horse, for example. You've got enough to mitigate those factors if it goes well.
Okay, so heading into the final part of this review video, we're going to be going over our lists and ranking them in a tier list. So whose do you want to start with? We have Sam's here at the start. Bard. That's Man United.
Definitely Man United.
I think Sam's is one of the better ones. Like,
I'd say if it had Gandalf in it, I'd put it in lemon, but the fact that it doesn't have Gandalf, I'd put it silly nervous.
You think Gandalf is the difference maker?
It's the fact that it's only one. Nervous. It's the fact that it's only one out of it. Yeah, it is very good, but Sam isn't. So He doesn't really go up
That's a
there.
great point.
You know,
It's dog then.
it's
No,
pretty,
it's not dog.
it's
Yeah,
pretty.
the list is
Definitely
carrying
not
itself
dog.
all the way around.
The fact that he's
Yeah, I think-
specifically thought about changing out Saruman for Gandalf is pretty silly, to be fair. He has thought about this.
Yes.
And
I think
I
does
would
that
agree
make
that
it a silly
Gandalf
nervous list?
is worse. I would agree that Gandalf is worse than Saruman.
Yes.
I'm
I
pretty.
think
It's pretty silly.
Only having
nervous.
6 inches of Fight 3 stinks quite a lot when you have
But it
46
doesn't
models.
matter because you don't.
6 inches
The
can always
warriors aren't
make
there
the
to
difference,
do
though.
anything.
Yeah, I think James is semi missing the point of what the troops are there to do job wise.
Like
Yeah,
James
but I think
missing
with
the
the
point.
12-inch banner, they do it 10 times more effectively. They just stall them.
Yeah, but
Whereas
Bard,
you don't do that without
Bard,
the 12-inch
Bard
banner.
and Saruman are 10 times more effective at their job with that combo instead of Gandalf.
Yeah. Gandalf,
Yeah.
honestly, James, Gandalf just doesn't cast. He's
It's,
so
it's
bad.
like, can you
I
get
have played
by?
it quite a few times, but I don't know. Like,
It's like,
How many
can
points
you
is good
get
Saruman?
by with only having the
90.
6-inch rather than
Good Saruman. They're exactly the
12?
same.
good Saruman.
No, as opposed to evil Saruman.
Yeah, no, I
How-
know. The points are the same, I meant.
Yeah,
How many points is he?
he's 180.
No, I think he's 10 less.
180.
Isn't he?
180 with the horse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So basically, he's got heroic defense and Palantir, the evil one.
he's still got defense
10
in
points.
the.
No,
White
evil
Council.
Saruman doesn't have defense.
Oh yeah, so the good
Oh.
one doesn't have the Palantir, but yes, he has good defense still.
Okay,
Mm.
And he gains Flame Burst in Isengard, which is
Yeah,
which I've never cast in my life.
which is just way worse than
Which is
Sorcerer's
way worse
Blast
than
for no
Sorcerer's Blast.
reason.
also he gains Aura of Command.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Instead
all
of
command's the main thing. It's like
yeah,
I think my list is it's versatile in the sense of I can beat everything as long as I know what I'm doing in that sense. Like it can do well against Ash's list in the right scenarios, and if I play it right, it's just depending on how whoever knocks their Witch King off first. And like if First James's list, it's Saruman just becomes an absolute beast, knocking Cab off. Against Elliot's list, Bard's really good. Adam's list, again, transfixing Eagles, blah, blah, blah. I haven't really played Eagles with it, to be fair. But there is still things, like if someone just walks into me and then just constantly rolls well to kill and I die too fast, then the game's over.
yeah, like a fight for horde. I think.
Yeah.
would be
So a fight
pretty
for
bad.
horde,
Like,
if I don't shoot them enough or I don't make their banner, their banner's not prone every turn by Sorcerer's Blast.
The amount
then
of stuff
hang
that
on.
Sorcerer's Blast can do is a huge point. If you can use it effectively, it'll do really well.
yeah, the
That's what I'm
difference
saying,
is
it's
Sorcerer's
like-
Blast, yeah.
What you gain from the better casting and everything that Saruman brings, just outweighs what you lose from the 6-inch banner and fight. Like if you can get by with having only the 6 as opposed to 12, then
I think it's a case
Yeah.
of because I wouldn't put it in lemon because to gain Saruman, I lose if I didn't lose as big of bonuses, if it would be I put it in lemon, but because I am kind of doing the trade-off, but I think the trade-off for me is worth it in the games I've played.
That's the thing. It's not an obvious bonus. It is a trade-off. That's
Yeah.
why.
I would
Yeah, I
I
think
would
silly
personally
nervous.
put it in silly nervous because I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's really good.
So we're going silly nervous on
Yeah.
Sam's cheesy survivors, White
makes sense.
Council ally. Okay.
Survivors in general, just really good.
Another thing to
Yeah.
add is you've got so much might with Alfred and the other heroes.
Yeah.
That is so.
So-
Why is Alfred?
So he's
do that?
always
Why
casting.
does he do that? What's he done to deserve
They literally
that?
tried to kill him in the films on the fucking side of the lake.
Yeah,
They
him and
dragged
Bard
him off,
ain't
didn't they?
mates.
Why
Why
would they
can you
give him
Bard might?
might? Yeah.
It's a case of if I had Gandalf, I'd put the list at the bottom of silly nervous, but because I've got Saruman, I'd put it at the top of silly nervous.
Mhm.
I like
That's
it.
what I think.
Shall we move on to Vince's Isengard list? What are we thinking?
Pretty nervous. It's not that silly.
I think
above.
it's more of a nervous list.
I disagree. I think it's above nervous. I think it's in silly nervous.
We could start somewhere, and then once we start adding in other lists, it can maybe move up or down. We could review at the end once everything's on the board.
I think it comes down to how well can he use his
I kind
Sarah.
of I kind of agree.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even silly nervous. There's just so much filth out there. Like I break pretty much most of my games, and
a lot of D5.
It's pretty fragile. It's got just about enough numbers, but against some really, really killy lists, it does start to fall apart if I'm like losing fights and I'm only 5-4.
If it was really silly, we'd have seen it win more events.
Yeah.
Generic it's not.
I don't think that's because I think it's because of the event. Like if it was a normal event where you play you have opportunity to play all 18 scenarios, I put it in nervous. But because of the rules pack and the adjustment to the scenarios and the scenarios you're guaranteed playing, I would then put it in silly nervous personally.
Yeah. The scenarios plays a big part. I think it will do better in this set.
Yeah,
but
because of recon, because of C's.
So it's got stuff to make up for. Yeah.
So,
it is.
To be honest,
it is a really good point. But then at the same time, every other list is also likely going to be exploiting things to make it better, due to the scenario. So it isn't that it isn't better than it would be outside of this event, because I agree it is with the Gravane. But then, the things it's matching up against is important.
So we're debating where to put it, silly or nervous.
Yeah.
Would it beat Sam's list in the 6 matchups? I think Sam would win.
I think it would.
I think because he's got Saruman who can take care of Grima, it's difficult.
Okay, let's put it this way: seize the prizes. Seize the prizes. He's got loads of tools. Grima stops the opponent marching or moving.
Seize the prize is unbelievable. Yeah.
He's got Gravane. He's got Saruman. He's got the control. He's got it. He can even immobilize before the opponent marches.
Yeah.
Just say they've got 2 marches. Yeah. You got Grima on one. You got an immobilize on the other. Brilliant. Then next turn, okay, one hero's out of position, another hero's in. Okay, he calls a move, might cost him 2 might. He's got tools. Contest, he's got Saruman immobilizing. He's got Grima.
I don't see a bad scenario. I don't see a bad scenario because
only 40 models.
Good for him,
it will just die. That's the thing.
It's
40 models are like 35 of them are D5.
James found this out on Masters. He had a the list was.
This is why I'm hoping the crossbows will actually help with it. At least I can maybe even up the numbers a little bit at the crossbows.
Yeah, if you can get good return out of the investment in the crossbows, then you're looking good. That will depend on the matchup.
But I still think a list like Sam's outshoots it. Having Bard way more bows.
What strength
ways?
I'm not sure it does. I mean, before Sam was taking Percy, but we discussed yesterday why you aren't taking Percy anymore for the double march, which is good.
The stationary crossbows.
Yeah, I'm winning on 4s. He's winning on 6s.
No,
he's got Bard.
So
but he's got 12 crossbows. That's a lot.
It depends on Saruman. If Saruman can sort of blast 2 a turn, or like 1 into another, so then those 2 can't shoot, and then
okay. I mean, but
if Sam plays it
easy to avoid.
He'll get to shoot before. Yeah, because the crossbows can't move. So Sam can move 3 up, shoot.
Yeah.
Then it's a turn. What do? Oh, Sam moves back. Vince can't shoot. It's like, especially Bard moving in 5 with the 6 might to spend. If you kill 2 or 3 of those crossbows, no.
Yeah,
I think this is quite corner case. I think in general, both lists are good. I'd say Sam's is probably slightly better in my opinion.
Yeah, may put it.
So shall we start? So do we want to start?
Sam's.
So here,
bottom of silly nervous.
Okay, we'll put it in the bottom of silly nervous.
Yeah.
It's a nervous list. It's not.
I don't know where people are.
Do a vote.
Leaning. Okay, Adam, where are you thinking?
Right there.
Right there. I'm personally going to go nervous with maybe the option to move things around at the end. Sam.
I'm going to agree with Adam, but it's bottom silly nervous.
Okay, James.
I'm putting it in nervous.
So that's 2-2. Vince, or does Vince not get a vote?
No, I guess everyone else votes. Everyone else votes.
Ash would be the deciding then, because it's 2-2.
It's not
put
silly.
It nervous then. Ash put
it's
it nervous.
It's not silly. It's a nervous list. Bring it down.
Okay, it's a nervous list.
Knock it down.
Okay.
Knock it down.
Knock it down. Moving on, we do have Adam's Eagle list with Raddy. What do we think?
So,
man,
I put it top of silly nervous. Yeah, top of silly nervous.
Top of silly.
It's an entirely.
I think with the scenarios, it definitely goes in silly nervous.
Yeah, okay.
Come
Just because of the
on.
scenarios.
I
Yeah.
totally don't think that in the slightest. I think
Adam, it's a themey list. You're gonna
it's
have
not. It's
paint.
not. It's not. It's
So that's
not
you
good.
saying it's a Man United list.
It's a
So
Man
let's put it
United.
this way: I was going to bring Ash's list,
Mm.
then I decided to bring Eagle.
See how he said Ash's list as well. Remember
Shut
that.
up.
Remember
Shut
that.
up.
Keep that in there for all the
Well,
haters.
actually, no, it
For all
didn't
the
have Cardiff.
haters,
It had
keep
Max
that.
Warbands, so it was like nearly 50 models.
You tell
I
him
put
that.
it in. I'd put it in bottom of nervous or top of dog. So
Top of dog.
top of dog
Right,
or
this
under
is what
nervous.
always happens.
Top of dog.
That's what I'm
Don't rank
saying.
What no?
So Sam, why do you think it's so bad?
I just think the model count. I think
I think against certain armies, it's
you
going to
need
lose.
good matchups and you need good dice in
Yeah.
every game. And
Yeah.
if you don't get that,
What's a bad matchup for it?
Over a 6-game event, that's tough.
just
Me?
any straight four, anything with magic that can
Elliot.
abuse.
They don't get resistant to magic, which is helpful.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I just don't think it's enough. I think when people have
Yeah.
certain model counts, if you lose, like it's just so move off dependent.
Yeah, I agree. It's dicey. You need to roll well.
And
Yeah.
You need to roll sixes on 2 or 3.
When you're
NHF
relying on heroic moves to see if you can charge again, or your 2 dice eagles get trapped and die.
Yeah, I think it's
Unfortunately, Adam, if you win, oh my god, that would be
silence us
when
all.
we come back
Yeah.
and do a tournament
review.
review. We can review
Yeah.
all our games.
Remember what happened last time?
true that.
We do indeed.
But I think it's just a case of if you do lose those roll offs, it goes really bad. But in the opposite hand, you could have an amazing weekend and just
Yeah, the level of luck I think is not luck, but like you probably need above average luck to do well with that list over 6 games. If it was like a 1-day event, those chances are much higher. But
and the
like
field
Sam
of
says,
players at 100.
Yeah, it's going to be
I
hard.
think
it's a pretty bloodbath event as well.
I mean, you'll win 2 games guaranteed, right? You'll win Lords and contests pretty guaranteed, right?
We're going 2 and 4. It's really dog.
Yeah, I know. But it's nice to go in.
So that's Ash saying he's going to lose every other game other than his best
Cognito
matchups.
some dog.
Yeah.
Right, no, I'll change your mind. Nervous. Let's go nervous.
I think it's a nervous
We've
list.
already knocked one down.
I think it's probably nervous.
I would probably say Vince's over 6 games is going to do better. I
It's
think
not
that's a better bet.
100% it's going to do better.
It's not consistent enough, in my opinion.
Okay. Let's put it there, I think. Yeah.
Are we all happy with that?
No.
Ash wants dog.
I'm loving
Ash
it.
wants
Put
dog.
it down.
Ash wants dog.
It's got to be. You got to be cruel.
It's
I'll wait for the review video in 2 weeks.
It's just
Convince
such a
me,
tricky
Adam.
one because it's a swing list. It's if you don't roll well, you're going to lose. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I put it this way. I don't think any of us
Pretty
would be
list, but-
necessarily afraid to face it. I think that's
Like
that's kind of what we need to think about.
with the Eagles, like there's so many easy countermeasures to do against it. Like if someone just places their heroes correctly, so you can never Nature's Wrath without hitting a hero to resist it, it just becomes a big problem. And when like basing a win off winning move offs, and I just think it's not consistent.
You know what? I'm sort of wanting to change my pick only because I see the list that's next, and I think we need a way to differentiate these lists.
What do you mean?
So what I think I would do, I think I would put this there, and I think I'd put that there.
No.
If it were me.
I think.
So are we putting Adam's list in dog?
No, let's just vote.
I'm not saying it's a dog list. I'm saying it's a way to differentiate on the list.
I think if we're going to have one in every category, which we don't necessarily have to.
We
don't have to.
We totally don't have to. But Adams is the most Man United of all the lists. No,
just to categorize.
I love it.
Let's vote.
We don't have to put it in dog.
Hands up for dog.
I think dog.
Even Adam's voting for dog.
I'm convinced I'm winning. Yeah.
Okay, it's a dog list. It's a dog list.
Okay,
right. Moving on. We do have James's Rivendell, Misty Mountains, Numenor, cheese. What are we thinking?
Yes. This is also pretty dog.
Yeah, I personally think this is worse.
Yeah, I don't rate it. I don't know.
I don't think it is. I mean, maybe it's just because, like I said earlier, I've had good, success against Eagles. I don't know. I think Elendil is, with Elrond, is pretty scary, and obviously Riv Knights are really good. It's like a weird Riv Knights list.
James, best hope I don't forget these, otherwise you can't even use the list.
Are you painting them now?
I was so tempted to do the classic
no.
Riv Knights because it fit perfectly at 765 with Aragorn and Gandalf, and exactly the same. But I thought it was a little bit boring.
James, it belongs. It belongs with Man United, I think.
Oh yeah,
it's a Man United list. Get it down there.
The Man United
I know
list.
I'd be put below the 6 Eagles.
Well, let's put it this way: if I don't get the move off, I'll still survive.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing. Is you lose your strength 6. Yeah, you have a Lendil, but if all your knights die, it doesn't matter if you have a Lendil.
well, yeah, but you don't just chuck the knights in like a brainless balloon.
It does though.
You got to use your brain.
25%.
You'll shoot.
If they're a brainless balloon,
you're gonna get shot. You're gonna lose horses from getting shot. I imagine people are going to take magic casters just because of it.
So.
Which
tremor like 4 of them, and then it's fine.
Yeah, it just it doesn't favour knights in the slightest, especially when you don't have blind light and you don't have any army bonuses. Yeah,
I don't think I need them.
Again, James, tag the post event because I can't see how it isn't Man United. I like it. I like.
I can't see how it is.
Elendil's got to do so much work. Again, Guahia's got to do a lot of work, and the Knights have not got to die.
Adam, you were wondering why earlier James has been doing very well this year, and it's because he's taken Man United list to 100s.
Yeah, James has got up his game to stay in the gamers.
No banner, it's just.
Yeah, I think it's Man United. I think
that is Man United of you.
This is on Master. A Masters player wrote this list, so he could use it to great success.
What the hell?
We'll wait and see.
You're underestimating the potential of it.
I think James is just high altitude training for something.
So what are we thinking? Man United? Is that where we're moving it?
It's a Man United team.
I'd have to put it dog personally, but
I think it's a little bit worse than mine.
I think you would say that. I mean,
to be fair though, he has. Well, I voted dog for mine, so
I think if I was betting as your list, though, Adam, I would rinse it quite quickly.
Yeah, but that's only because of Elendil.
Yes.
No, just like if
and Adam hurls all your knights off.
Oh, sure, he can
all
try.
I need to do is hurl into Elendil, and then.
Then you fly away from him.
He's still good. He's still really good against Eagles, but
yeah.
One of the main advantages of knights is their speed and their maneuverability, but
he does have the Nature's Wrath and Raddy as well.
Yeah.
Maybe we can revisit the ordering at the end.
Prove us wrong, James.
I love how it's just like a dog.
Prove us wrong. Drop it down.
Just don't want to be the worst.
Low model count is just never unless you're playing something that has
double Adams.
Imagine playing Bert's Assault. You have a turn and then you're broken, and then it's 25%.
It's not even that. If you have low model count, you need such control that it's ridiculously going to win you the game. Like Black Riders has low model count, but the control is 50,000 times more than both those lists. That's why it does well.
Adam, I think Adams is better. It's got to be Man United.
It's outrageous.
Let's put it in Man United, or
they're going down.
Dog?
No, Man.
Right, we'll put it in Man, and we'll revisit it at the end. Moving on, the cheesy Emperor list. Where are we going?
This is Lemon. This is the best Legion in the game.
Yeah, Lemon. I think
this is the best Legion in the game.
Yeah,
Dragon Lemon list.
Yeah,
it's taken one of the top 4.
It's probably the best.
List. Who would say it is the best Legion? Yeah,
it goes in Lemon. It goes in Lemon.
It's so good.
It's Lemon.
So the worst player here is taking the best list. Okay, I like it.
I don't know.
You do need a handicap. That's the trouble.
Even the odds.
Yeah.
There we go.
If James, when we come to the post event review, when James finishes above you,
the
humiliation.
To be fair, Elendil,
I won't be on the next.
Elendil gets through this army.
Episode. What's that? Elendil?
Yeah, when James plays,
Elliot to destroy his dreams.
That'll be tough.
Even Dragon Emperor destroys your army though, that James. I think it's a real shame. Because what do you do? You charge fight 5 knights to fight 5 block of infantry. Like, yeah, nice.
Oh, I'll wait ages to charge while just running in and out with like a Lembill and right here and stuff.
How are you running
Curling against pikes as well does crazy damage.
Shooting those defense 5 guys.
Yeah, those Easterling bows.
Yeah, they'll be shooting back at the horses once you lose a few of those.
Yeah.
So lemon?
Yeah, lemon.
It's staying in the lemon. Yeah.
Finally, we have Ash's Mordor Harad cheese.
I'm going to do some listening.
Yeah,
I think
bottom of the lemon or top for silly nervous.
I'd put it in silly nervous above
definitely at least silly nervous.
I think it's better than Sam's.
I think it goes
Sam's.
Yeah. Above mine, there.
Yeah.
There, yeah.
Boost it up. It's a lemon list. Which lists came top? There were 3 lists at the Masters that were Emperor, none of them podiumed. 2 Witch King Sully lists that came first and second.
You can't.
It's a lemon list.
You can't take a 700-point event with no special scenarios and just say, yeah, it's.
I reckon lemon is.
It's empirical data
for like kind of borderline broken.
That's not how it works. Ash.
That's like facts saying are in front of you.
That's like saying something is good at 450. Oh, if it's good at 450, it's lemon at 800.
We've added 65 points. It's not really very much.
I think you're selling yourself short here a little bit because I've used the list and it's really good. But you got to remember the sort of people who play the list well are you, farmer.
Yourself.
You
came. You don't see it apart from farmer. You don't see this winning. I mean,
I think farmer takes a more skilled list. He takes
Witch King.
Another caster.
Farmer's list is better.
Yeah,
agreed. But
I think farmers would be lemon, but I think that sticks to the top of silly nervous.
But that's not the list. That's the player, isn't it?
No, but
he's got a higher skill ceiling with the list, though.
Yeah, I agree that farmers list would be lemon. Ashes is just below in silly nervous, top of silly nervous.
Yeah,
it's a lemon list. Get it up there.
No, I think I'm happy with where it is.
If you lose those black numbs, you do just lose a lot.
Yeah, it seems like I think
the tools.
Yeah, the list is great, but I think you have to play it well as well. So it's not lemon. I think lemon lists are ones that
fair enough.
Can just
Elliot's list is an autoplay, whereas my list takes a massive.
It takes a bit of skill. You've got to play it.
So a huge level of skill. Yeah, the Dragon Emperor's coming to Worcester. It's a bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah, we'll have to do a review or a post event for Worcester as well. But are we happy with everything where it is then? We don't want to move anything, or do we want to move things around?
I'm delighted with Dog.
I'm happy.
Adam is so happy he finished above.
Yeah, I feel hard done by. I'm not a listing Dog.
I wish I could just read you the list that I actually was going to bring, and then I bought Eagles specially for this event.
You didn't even need to buy them. We have so many Eagles.
Yeah.
Hobby project, man.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if we're all happy with the list, that's going to wrap it up for episode 1 of the Gollum's Gamers podcast. We're going to have more content coming out, more episodes as we, go to more events. So we'll have another episode out probably after City of Kings. I think Ali's going to come on, and we'll, chat about how the scenarios went, the custom scenarios, and how we all got on. But thank you for watching episode 1 of the Gollum's Gamers podcast.